The ultimate fish sandwich, fries, and a drink, now just $2.99.
Working in the spirit of Texas, from WFAA TV, this is News 8 at 6.
Unbelievable. It's just shock. You just cannot believe that this has happened.
The parents of two Fort Worth teenagers robbed and murdered overnight asked the public's help in finding the killer. Good evening. The brutal murders of these two high school students happened in Northeast Fort Worth, and police believe robbery is the apparent motive. Homicide detectives say they're now conducting an intense investigation to find out who did it. Channel 8's John Jones has been covering the story today, and he joins us now live in the Fort Worth Bureau. John?
Brad, 17-year-old Michael McEachern and 16-year-old Catherine Nesbitt were found shot to death just after 2 this morning in Northeast Fort Worth. Passing motorists saw the two teenagers lying beside the road in the 10,000 block of Trinity Boulevard. Now, the search is on for their killers. Police say around 2:30 this morning, motorists on Trinity Boulevard spotted the bodies of 17-year-old Michael McEachern and 16-year-old Catherine Nesbitt. The teenaged friends had been shot in the head, and McEachern's 1988 blue Ford Bronco was missing. Witnesses say they saw a black pickup in the area shortly before the victims were found.
Persons that saw a black pickup earlier this morning will be trying to identify who may be the owner of the vehicle or who may have been driving a vehicle that was seen close to where the bodies were found.
It's a dangerous world for kids out there now.
Michael McEachern's parents say their son was bright and outgoing and willing to help strangers.
He's the type of person that would help anyone, and I'm really concerned that this may have even something to do with this, because he would have picked up anyone off the street that needed help. He would have stopped, he would have responded, and never thought twice about it.
Police say McEachern and Nesbitt had attended a party with some high school friends at a motel. Then they dropped off a friend at his house around midnight, returned to the party, and were not seen again. Their murders have shocked their friends.
She's a very good person, just very nice, always happy, and she, never had any problems with anybody, just a real good girl. And Mike too. Mike, real nice guy, known around the town. Nobody ever had any problems with either of them.
I'm so much shock right now. I'm really not really going to start really feeling it till later on, but it's just really hard to believe, and it's sick.
For Michael's father, he asks anyone who saw something to help find his son's killer.
It's got to stop. We just can't. We can't keep raising children in this type of an environment. So we want this one solved for personal reasons, obviously.
Just after 9 this morning, police found Michael McEachern's 1988 blue Ford Bronco in Sandy Lane Park near his house. The stereo had been stolen from the vehicle. At this point, police cannot say for sure if the two teens were the victims of a carjacking or a deadly robbery. So far, police have not identified any suspects. Brad?
Okay, thanks very much, John. 75 years ago today, American women won the right to vote with the ratification of the 19th Amendment. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area today, people remembered the women who faced harassment, jail, and sometimes physical abuse for the cause. Channel 8's Anita Vernadeau reports.
It's their civic duty.
101-year-old Margaret White tells a crowd at Visions Expo in Dallas she was 26 years old when women won the right to vote. 75 years later, she still believes in the power of the ballot.
I just can't understand the way some of the things are, but we have to try to change it by our vote.
This is our state movement. At Woman Fest in Fort Worth, they celebrate the woman's political voice for issues ranging from family values to school funding to abortion and birth control. 98-year-old Virginia Sloan remembers the first time she was allowed to vote on issues that affected her.
Oh, I was already excited because my mother was for women's rights to vote. She herself was interested in politics.
Sloan and others recall the women who led the suffrage movement. The most recognized is Susan B. Anthony, who died 14 years before the 19th Amendment was ratified. The struggle lasted more than 70 years as women like former slave Sojourner Truth inspired thousands with an animated lecture, Ain't I a Woman? Lucy Stone was the first to refuse to change her name when married and published the influential Woman's Journal. But even after women won the right to vote, not all understood what the suffrage movement was all about.
She was a college graduate, and I called her up and I said, Mariana, let's go vote. And she said, Lou, I haven't asked Joe how to vote yet. And that made me so mad, I just threw up my hands. That a woman would give. All these women had fought for the right to go. She was giving her husband 2 votes because she was asking him.
The celebration of 75 years of a woman's right to vote is overshadowed by the fact that voter turnouts remain very low. Political activists say their hardest work these days is urging both men and women to come to the polls.
I think it's a shame that women don't vote more than vote.
I think your vote is your voice. And if you cast your vote, then you speak up for what you believe in.
On this day, as tomorrow's voters watch closely, groups urge people to register and remember your voice on Election Day. Anita Vernadeau, Channel 8 News.
There were also 19th Amendment celebrations in Washington, D.C. today, where nearly 1,000 women rallied along Constitution Avenue. ABC's Gil Fox reports.
For years, they were arrested and jailed for seeking the right to vote. Susan B. Anthony became the heroine of the movement, but she died before Congress ratified the 19th Amendment in 1920. Today, in the crypt of the Capitol, women gathered to pay tribute to the early suffrage leaders.
We must thank them for giving us the power to affect policy.
Later, hundreds retraced the footsteps of their mentors with a peaceful march down Constitution Avenue. California's 2 Democratic senators, Barbara Boxer and Dianne Feinstein, urged women to fight for what they believe is their right. Women voters have tipped the balance in their favor. In the 1992 election, women voters were crucial to President Clinton's victory. The first family took time out from their vacation in Wyoming to commemorate the 75th anniversary.
Opponents said that allowing women to vote would mean a disaster for our nations. It would destroy our families. It would end all distinctions between the sexes. Happily, they were wrong on all counts.
Simply put, if women and girls don't flourish, families won't flourish. And if families don't flourish, communities and nations won't flourish.
The U.S. Postal Service unveiled the women's suffrage stamp. Those stamps went on sale in St. Louis.
I only have $5. How many stamps can I get?
In New York, there was a voter registration drive. Gil Fox, ABC News, reporting.
And on Women's Equality Day, the First Lady defended her upcoming trip to China. Early next month, she'll attend the United Nations Women's Conference in Beijing. Conservative critics call the meeting a liberal, anti-family event and a waste of taxpayers' money. But today in Grand Teton National Park, the Clintons argued the conference will be true blue to family values.
The reason these men and women are going to Beijing is to focus world attention on the issues that matter most to women and families: health care, education, economic opportunity, political freedom and participation, and human rights.
I'm glad the First Lady is going to lead our delegation.
And Mrs. Clinton's decision to attend the conference came after China this week expelled Harry Wu, a Chinese-American human rights activist. In Richardson today, local Chinese war veterans commemorated the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II and the defeat of Japan. Fu, the top flying ace of China, opened a photo exhibit of the war that claimed 12 million Chinese lives. Jim Romer, a pilot who flew dangerous tanker missions over the Himalayas, recalled the sacrifice. Only 13 of his original 40 crew members survived. A veteran of the 8-year-long Chinese land war says future generations should learn an important history lesson.
Our 2 countries, they join together to cooperate, to same with a common goal, with a very strong will. You can do it. This is very important. You've got to have a strong will.
The vet said they were just doing their job. The ceremonies continue at the Dallas Chinese Community Activity Center in Richardson through Tuesday. There's more ahead on News 8 this Saturday. Up next, what's killed 1 million fish along the Texas Gulf Coast. Also ahead, the battle against the New York brush fires. Who's winning? And the big party in Oklahoma City. A Texas thank you.
The Dodge Buyer's Choice Final Cleanup brings to a close the most successful sale in Dodge history. So you've got to hurry to take your choice of $500 cash savings on a new, technically sophisticated Dodge Stratus. Or choose a Stratus interest rate as low as 1.9%. Or choose a Stratus lease rate as low as $199 a month. So hurry in today before your best Stratus choices are all cleaned out. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
It's Jack. I want to talk to the Colonel, founder to founder.
The Colonel doesn't want to see you.
He's upset about my spicy crispy chicken sandwich, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty teed off.
I thought he'd appreciate a really spicy, really crispy chicken sandwich. There's nothing else like it.
He says go and never come back.
Huh?
And leave the sandwich.
Hope you enjoy it. Psych.
Visions, the Women's Expo is back.
Oh, do tell.
Things to buy, workshops, and fashion shows by JCPenney.
Fantastic.
Meet Channel 8's Gloria Campos and General Manager Kathy Craney for a special 8 listens to busy moms. Then get an inside look at Good Morning Texas with host Scott Sams and Deborah Duncan.
Details. I want details.
Today at the Infomart.
I am already there.
Visions, sponsored by JCPenney, Baylor Healthcare Systems, GTE, and Channel 8, the spirit of Texas.
The best is here. The Mazda Labor Day Savings Spectacular. Time for big savings on a Mazda truck with power steering, rear ABS, even an AM/FM cassette stereo. Buy now and get over $2,000 in special savings, including air conditioning at no extra charge. The Mazda Labor Day Savings Spectacular. Don't miss it, or you miss the chance to save over $2,000 on a Mazda truck.
New information tonight that might link Timothy McVeigh even closer to the Oklahoma City bombing. Today's Los Angeles Times reports an attorney saw McVeigh driving a car prior to the bombing that closely matches the description of the getaway vehicle. The attorney claims he saw McVeigh drive below a federal building in a yellow car. McVeigh was arrested after the bombing, driving a yellow 1977 Mercury Marquis.
Polo shirt over here, you better know it.
A Texas county fair in Oklahoma City today to say thanks to those who helped after the April bombing. 32 North Texas law enforcement agencies are sponsoring the fair for all who gave of themselves so freely 4 months ago.
We just want to come up here and show that we appreciate the folks and what they did, give them a little uplift, let them know that everybody's behind them, and show them what we do besides tragedies and disasters and things like that.
There's free food, fun, and games for the bombing survivors, emergency workers, and their families. The Texas County Fair is underway at the Oklahoma State Fairgrounds. The emergency crews battling those Long Island brush fires finally have victory in sight. Firefighters say the massive blaze is nearly contained. The latest now from ABC's Jim Hickey.
By morning, it was clear that man had gained the upper hand over nature, but man wasn't quite ready yet to claim victory.
We're very, very encouraged. It's not out. There are still plumes of smoke. There are still some hot spots, and we're not yet at the point where we can claim containment, but we feel very good about the status of the fire at this point.
They call it reaching containment. Fire officials will not say the fire is under control until it is flat out dead.
Well, if the wind picks up, you can get fire spreading pretty rapidly. Humidity's kind of low, so if the wind picks up, you could get flames again. But you gotta, just because the flames are out doesn't mean the fire's contained, because it'll creep through the soil, and it could burn for days and days and days unless you get some rain, really.
But if the fire was not under control, firemen surely had it in control. New York Governor Pataki, in a politician's photo op dream, toured and thanked a quarter-mile-long line of exhausted firemen. The acres of now naked pine forest stand in mute testimony to the inferno's fury. As the fire died down, a small controversy flared up over those water-carrying transport planes promised by the federal government. By mid-morning, they hadn't shown up.
The federal officials acknowledged that there was a foul-up within the federal bureaucracy, and that was disappointing to us, and we hope that they take a look at it so that they get it straightened out before the next time.
Meanwhile, military helicopters continue to drop water over isolated hotspots. At midday, it was announced that the 400 people evacuated from their homes could now return. The fire officially was still not fully contained, but it is safe enough that they can go home. Jim Hickey, ABC News, Long Island, New York.
An environmental mystery in Texas. More than 1 million dead fish washed up along the Colorado River where it meets the Gulf near Matagorda. And the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department isn't sure why. It does not believe the fish were killed by pollution. Instead, biologists suspect a lack of oxygen in nearby canals where vegetation is sparse and the water levels are low. Well, Elise is here now. And speaking of our water level, it was a little higher today. Some people got some rain.
Sure did. Some locally heavy, as a matter of fact, and we've also seen a lot of haze, very high ozone levels in the atmosphere today. We're going to take a look at the local radar when we come back.
Live captioning of News 8 is sponsored by Green Oaks Mental Health Services, offering effective treatment for adolescents and adults.
We at Oldsmobile don't like to boast, but our 88 was named a Consumer's Digest Best Buy for the 5th straight year. Me too. And to celebrate, we're now offering this special limited time lease price of only $279 per month. Not to mention dual airbags, ABS, and a 205 horsepower V6. In our humble opinion, you betcha. It's your money.
Tonight, journey with 2020's Lynn Sure and discover extraordinary women who defied tradition and achieved what no one thought women could do.
All these women wrote their own rules.
Pilot Amelia Earhart, athlete Babe Didrikson, astronaut school teacher Krista McAuliffe, painter Georgia O'Keeffe, and the first African-American woman to become a millionaire.
Heroic women are all over the map.
Join First Lady Hillary Clinton for the all-new Susan B. Anthony Slept Here.
That's tonight, followed by the Texas Lottery here on Channel 8.
Ow! I really took some big hits, and so do a lot of homeowners when their siding contractors don't show up, don't return calls, drag out the job forever. That's why Sears is offering an exclusive half-back guarantee of performance. If the Sears team doesn't start your siding job on time and finish on time, Sears will give you half back, and nobody else does. Don't take chances on your home. Call now to arrange your free in-home estimate.
We will likely see a little more rain tomorrow and a lot more haze. As we expected, we got those isolated thunderstorms that were in the forecast and a very hazy day as well. A lot of ozone in the lower layers of the atmosphere. It has been another ozone alert day, but I don't think we're going to need one again tomorrow. It is a little unusual to have an ozone alert day on a Saturday. Typically, that's more in store for the weekdays when traffic is a little heavier, but there's plenty of that pollutant ozone in the upper and lower atmosphere today. Here's a look now at the local radar. This is where the rain's popping up at the current time, and let me show you the radar loop over the last 2 hours so you can see where it's been and how it's been going. Not a real strong pattern associated with this, not any real directional pattern that you can pick up, just kind of hit and miss type thunderstorms. They pop up and then they disappear. Here's another look at the current image. Not a whole lot left, and as the sun continues to set, once it has set, I don't think we're going to see any more rain tonight, but some more isolated thunderstorms are possible for us tomorrow. Here's a look now at the 4D satellite picture. You can see how the day has gone. We've had a fair amount of cloud cover, some with fairly high tops. And we've also got a trough of low pressure out to the west, but the real dominant influence with our weather today has been in the upper atmosphere where there's been an area of instability. We've had some moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. Those two systems combined with the daytime heating has what's triggered the thunderstorms. And again, we'll probably see a fairly similar pattern for tomorrow. Temperatures at 6 o'clock, we've got an even 90 degrees. It's 90 up in Amarillo, El Paso with 96. Brownsville has 85, 99 now in Shreveport. And again, we've got a temperature of 90 degrees, but when you factor in the humidity, it feels a good deal warmer than that. Humidity now 50%, and it feels as if it's 96 degrees. Here's a check of the current conditions. Again, we've got mostly cloudy skies right now, a temperature of 90 degrees, but it feels like 96. Humidity 50%, barometric pressure is steady. Our winds have been very variable all day from virtually every direction. For tomorrow, we're looking for a light easterly wind. Right now, they're out of the west at 16 miles per hour. And while many of us saw thunderstorms, some of them were in fact locally heavy, the rain gauge at DFW did not pick up any. So in the record books, it'll go down as 0 for the day. Here's a check of the almanac for today. We got up to a high of 98, 77 the low. There are the normals, and here are the records 104 and a temperature of 60 degrees. Moving right along elsewhere across the country, the big story across the southeastern United States, that's where a good deal of precipitation has been falling. Some portions of Georgia picked up over 8 inches of rainfall. That's what's left of Tropical Depression Jerry. Here's another look at the tropics. We've got a number of systems to talk about. We've still got Umberto, which is a hurricane. That one's moving up to the north and losing a little bit of strength. High sustained winds within Hurricane Umberto now 90 miles per hour. We also have Tropical Storm Iris, which is a threat now to the Lesser Antilles. High sustained winds there. That storm has also decreased. 45 miles per hour, and we have another tropical depression which has developed over the last 24 hours. And this one, if it develops into a tropical storm, and likely it will be called Karen. Here's a check now of the extended forecast. Partly cloudy skies in store for us tonight. We'll see an overnight temperature of 76 degrees. Tomorrow, look for another hazy day, ozone another likely factor for us, and a few more isolated storms. Hazy again on Monday, and then partly cloudy skies. We're going to see temperatures mostly in the 90s. Overnight temperatures will be mostly in the 70s. So a day tomorrow very similar to what we had today. Some of those hit and miss. If you get hit, you're among the few.
And anybody who did feels pretty lucky tonight.
Yeah, not bad.
All right, thanks very much. A reminder about tonight's Lotto Texas here on Channel 8. The jackpot has grown to $10 million. You can see if your lucky numbers are drawn tonight at 10, just before the News 8 update. Well, up next in sports, the Cowboys play tonight, and we'll go live to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio for a preview. Plus, the Texas baseball team plays in the Little League World Series.
Microsoft presents the start of something new with Anthony Edwards and Bill Gates.
What can I say? It's fun.
Monday night at 6:30.
Howdy. Y'all know for over 85 years, Mrs. Baird's has been a tradition here in Texas. They know a thing or two about the way Texans like to eat. They've come up with Mrs. Baird's Texas Tortillas. Sorry, there's 2 L's in tortillas. And they're the freshest, best-tasting tortillas you ever wrapped around a fajita. I guess you could say it's a tortilla Texans can call their own. So give Mrs. Baird's Texas Tortillas a try. She'd appreciate it.
Hold on.
Passion.
To the moment.
Courage. Brotherhood. Hold on to the moment with United States Olympic coins of the Atlanta Centennial Olympic Games, created by the U.S. Mint in support of our young hopefuls.
Get ready for excitement. It's your North Texas Pontiac dealers all-out clearance. With financing as low as 5.8% or cash back up to $1,000 on 95 Bonnevilles, Grand Ams, and Firebirds. We're selling out the 95 Grand Prix, Transports, and all new Sunfires. Right now, you can buy a new Bonneville with just over $2,100 down and only $269 a month. It's time to take advantage of the all-out clearance going on now at your North Texas Pontiac dealer.
Cowboys in exhibition again tonight, playing in San Antonio against the Oilers, and all the players those people want to see won't be playing tonight, it sounds.
Yeah, you know, you've heard about the fact that it's a $49 ticket and what for, but, you know, still have to make their money, the sponsors and all that good stuff. We still have to see some football, right? Yeah. We've heard all week that the Cowboys won't be playing their superstars anyway, the Aikman, Smith, Irvins of the team, but this is the final preseason exhibition, and there is still some work to be done. Chris Arnold joins us live from San Antonio with that. Chris?
And, Brian, we've got Larry Lacewell of the Cowboys front office. Larry, Barry said yesterday that there are 12 guys that got the papers on them. 7 of them got to go. That means 5 could possibly make the team off their performance tonight, right?
Well, it certainly is. I think we all know that we're exploring the avenue of keeping an extra kicker. Maybe if he has a big night, who knows, we could keep him. Certainly the linebacking situation is there's 3 or 4 guys in that mix that maybe 1 or 2 of them will come out of this ball game that we will keep. And those are the situations, and there are going to be a lot of sleepless nights by coaches and players tonight.
Is there a real possibility that Bucky Richardson can make this team?
I think it really is, because I think he's a multi-purpose guy. He's a special teams guy. He's smart enough to do what we want him to do in our fullback position, and he's tough enough to do it also, and he can catch the ball, and he's a reckless guy. He's in the Bill Bates mold, so he very well can make it.
And this is a very important game for Eric Williams. I guess that's the big story of the night.
Probably the one thing, if I were a fan tonight paying attention to, and I certainly I am as a Dallas Cowboy, will be the performance there with him. It's a nervous time for all of us.
All right, appreciate it, Larry Lacewell. And back to you, Brian.
No Dion sightings tonight, Chris?
No Dion sightings yet, not in the building.
Well, we have to keep up on that every night, it seems. Final cuts will take place tomorrow, and then it's on to the regular season. Cowboys will no doubt be watching other cuts as well. Here's the first real opponent for the Cowboys opening night. The Giants hoping not to get the kind of weather they had in their warm-up at Carolina and hoping to get plenty of this. Help from Herschel Walker. Still wearing 34, still looking like the same running back. They still get the field goals, New York does, but it's still the same offense, and that's all they get. Carolina gets just a little bit more. The pass here sets up one of their field goals. 6-3, Carolina in an exciting preseason finale. College football with its official opener, the Pigskin Classic, and it was played like a midseason shootout. Michigan hosting Virginia. Tiki Barber with the run here will go 81 yards for the touchdown. It was 17-0 Virginia at one point before Michigan begins its comeback. And boy, when they do, they do. This is the final play of the game coming up with the final seconds going off on the clock, and the touchdown pass to Mercury Hayes. He got 1 foot in. Yep, that was the winner. 18-17 Michigan. Now that was an exciting final. Rangers still the top wild card team in the American League, but needing to stop a minor slide that has their lead for the final playoff spot down to a game and a half. The Rangers hope to get a boost tonight against Kansas City with Bob Tewksbury back on the mound in his first start back from the disabled list. Division leaders among those already through their Saturday starts. Red Sox playing out west in Oakland, and every Athletic starter gets at least 1 hit. A's score 6 in the 3rd inning, and this is part of it. Stan Javier also part of it. In fact, he has 3 RBI today, and for the first time in over a month, the Red Sox lose 2 straight. 11-4 that final. Indians still setting the pace for the rest, hosting Detroit, going for win number 7 in the last 8, and Cecil Fielder shows it's about to happen. In creative ways, though, watch this. Throw to second in the bottom of the 5th. In comes Eddie Murray, stealing home, and he is safe. Indians get the win, 6-2 final. National League Braves with Greg Maddux on the mound. That's a win. Maddux with a shutout through 7. Mark Lemke with the offense he needs in the 3rd, a 2 RBI triple, part of a 5-run inning for Atlanta. Greg Maddux also gets plenty of help on his own. He always does on the mound, and Maddux will get the strikeout coming up with Sammy Sosa to help set a modern-day record with his 16th straight road win, 7-2 final. Speaking of domination, 16 also the number Taiwan with